Alright, I'm in the WordPress admin area, so the WordPress dashboard of one of my WordPress websites. I'm going to go ahead and install the two forms that we created. So first of all, I'm going to install the static form, which is going to go in a sidebar. And if you remember in Aweber, I called this form blog sidebar. So in order to install the form, for the first one, go to Appearance and select Widgets. Now, the most common place and the popular place to have your basic static web form is in a sidebar. On this particular blog, I'm not using the left sidebar, but you could use left or right. Now, here's the thing. It is said, and it has been proven, that the right sidebar draws more attention than the left sidebar. So it's probably advisable to put your form in the right sidebar. You also want your form to be, if possible, above the fold. Above the fold means that on a standard size screen, the user does not need to scroll down to see it. Now, this is not quite as important as it used to be because so many people are now using mobile devices and tablets and even using their phones. So there's no way you can have the form above the fold when people are using these very small screens. But nevertheless, you still should try and keep it above the fold for the people who are still using standard size screens. So to install your web form in your sidebar, you need to select a text widget and drag that text widget up to where you want it to go. Now I'm going to put it right at the top of my right sidebar, so it's going to go above the other widgets that are in here. For the title, you put nothing in at all, just ignore that. And in the content, this is where you need to copy and paste the form code that you took earlier from Aweber. Now before we save this, there's one more thing that we should really do. We want to make sure that this form is in the center of the sidebar. Of HTML to do that. So this is the HTML you use for centering, just the word center, and then down here we close the HTML tag. And then go ahead and hit save. And now I'm going to go and view this. And I am happy enough with the way this looks. If you're not happy with the way it looks, go back into Aweber and edit it and change it as much as you like. Because remember what we just spoke about a few minutes ago, if you're using JavaScript, any change to your form you make in Aweber is going to be automatically reflected on your website. So it really doesn't take long to edit and customize your form and tweak it until you get it the way you want it to look. Alright, so that's the first form. Now let's go ahead and let's install the Popover form, the other form that we created. So again, we need text. Just drag it up here. Just put it anywhere at all, that's okay. And here we're going to copy and paste the code for the Popover form. We don't need to center it this time because this is actually the Popover form. It's a completely different thing. So just go ahead, hit save. And now we want to see if it's going to work. So hit refresh on your website. And if you remember, I set this form to appear after 45 seconds. So I'm just going to pause this video so you don't have to sit here looking at it for 45 seconds. And here it is. And you will see that I have chosen a lightbox form, so the page behind it has gone dark, which I think actually looks better. So this is appearing after 45 seconds, and I feel that's quite a good length of time because it gives the user some time to look around the site before they have this form right in their face. Now, if this doesn't work for you, then you have almost certainly done something wrong. So go back to Aweber and make sure that you copied the whole code and you didn't leave a bit. So for example, make sure you didn't sort of do this and leave a bit at the bottom. Yeah, so check that you copied the whole thing onto the notepad, and also check that when you copied it from the notepad into the widget here, that you copied and pasted the whole code in. And if you've done that, so if you've made sure that you took the code correctly and you've pasted the code, the whole code in correctly, there really is no reason why it shouldn't work. The only other possibility is that you took the raw HTML code instead of the JavaScript. Now this form here does not have raw HTML because it's a popover form, but your basic forms do. If you perhaps accidentally took the raw HTML and you pasted that into a widget in your WordPress blog, it's possible that it was too big and it didn't fit. If it's JavaScript, it will automatically resize to the size that it should be to fit into wherever you're putting it, whatever widget you're putting it into. So those are really the only two possibilities if it's not working. All right, let's move on to the next lecture.